Hello, everybody. It's Sunday, the 7th of February, 2021. It's Super Bowl Sunday. And today's talk is Reconstruction, Southern Reconstruction in a nutshell. But before I do that, let me note that if you want to get notified of future episodes of Civil War Chat, then please click on the notification bell in the upper right, and you'll be notified. So let me pull up my notes on Southern Reconstruction in a nutshell. If you believe today's Democrats advocate that Washington, D.C. become a state, chiefly because the district's residents are as justified as any in the present 50 states of Senate and House representation, then you are likely to believe that postbellum Republicans championed black suffrage in the South because it was the morally correct thing to do. That is what is taught in America's colleges today, that they did it based upon an impulse of moral instinct. If, however, you believe that today's Democrats want DC statehood in order to gain power, especially since they would gain 2 additional senators, then you should understand that postbellum Republicans supported black suffrage and ex-Confederate political disfranchisement in order to hold onto political power in Washington via the formation of Republican-controlled puppet regimes in the South. And before deciding, consider 4 points. First, do you think that today's Democrats would support DC statehood if they felt it would add 2 new Republican senators? Second, consider that the District of Columbia was originally established to be independent of any state as a matter of principle. That is what was intended. Third, do you think that postbellum Republicans would have supported Southern black suffrage if they felt it would bring the ex-Confederate states back into the Union with Democrat regimes? Daniel Chamberlain, who was a Massachusetts Yankee, Yale graduate, and the last carpetbag governor of South Carolina, admitted some 24 years later that the blanket answer for Republicans of his time was hell no. They would not have supported black suffrage unless they knew that blacks would have voted Republican. They certainly wouldn't have done it if they felt there was any chance they would vote Democrat. Fourth, do you think the modern Democrats would have supported illegal immigration for the past 30 or 40 years if the illegal aliens that came into our country would have led to a surge of GOP voters? I listened to one of Andrew Klavan's podcasts yesterday, Saturday. He does them now once a week on Friday. He did an analysis of Milton's Paradise Lost and related it to the current times. And of course, one of the famous quotes from Paradise Lost is when Lucifer concludes, "It is better to reign in hell than serve in heaven." So he's a fallen angel. Rather than serve as one of many in heaven, he would rather reign in hell. And the point is, this is 17, this goes back to what, the 18th century when it was written. Milton was telling us, which I guess the wisdom goes even beyond that some of us are so hungry for power, we would rather reign in hell, have our reign in hell, than to just be a mere participant in heaven. It's hard to deny Andrew Klavan's implication. The Democrats are doing exactly this. They are spending trillions of dollars that we don't have for the purpose of keeping them in power. They are ready to break with the 220-year-old tradition, intentional tradition, intentional principle that Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, was meant to be a federal district, deliberately not connected to any state. And for 220 years, they want to change that because they have this great sympathy for the people of the district that need to have, you know, quote, fair representation, close quote. Now, they want the power. They've already got they've got 50 senators, Republicans have 50 senators, Democrats have the vice president, so they can win every tie vote. But they want a margin of error. So they want to promote District of Columbia statehood. In fact, one House Democrat has already introduced a bill to that effect. Now, how much further behind would be Puerto Rico statehood? That's speculation, but it's reasonable. It's reasonable to question that. So I think from the main message I want to make here that's pertinent to the Civil War and to Reconstruction is, if you look at what the Democrats want to accomplish with District of Columbia statehood, and you listen to their rhetoric, which do you think is telling you the truth? Do they want the power that District of Columbia state would give them, the incremental power? Or do they really, really care about all these platitudes of representation and all that sort of thing, fair representation, equal treatment for the citizens who are overwhelmingly black, or whatever they're going to say? Which do you really think is motivating the Democrats? And as far as the illegal immigration, what do you think really prevented Congress with coming up with a immigration policy, a legal immigration policy, over the last 30 or 40 years? What do you really think did that? And I think that tells you what the Republicans were really doing after the Civil War, despite the fact that they're, reincarnated acolytes and supporters in the history departments of academia will teach the students that all of the postbellum Republicans supported black suffrage because they were morally outraged at how the blacks were treated. They were morally concerned about it. There are plenty of opportunities, plenty of quotations, including from men like Thaddeus Stevens, that they wanted the political power. They wanted black suffrage because of political power. No, of course, they also said, "Oh, we want it because it's the right thing to do with blacks." But they admitted it was, they wanted the political power. Of course, most of them didn't because, you know, as I think it was J.P. Morgan said, a man always has two reasons for the things he does. One is the real reason, and the second is the reason that he tells everybody. And it's the second reason that he's willing to discuss. The first reason is the true motivation. So anyway, with that, I want to recommend my book, Southern Reconstruction, by Philip Lee. You can get it at Barnes & Noble or Amazon. It's available in paperback now. It's priced there at $22. So those of you that want it, I think you'll find it helpful if you really want to understand what was going on with Reconstruction. And you can relate it to how the Democrat Party now is so anxious to get Washington, D.C. statehood, and examine their motives. Think about the motives that the postbellum Republicans had. A lot of it's disclosed in this book, Southern Reconstruction by Philip Lee. Okay, that's our show, and thanks for watching.